You're like, what are the criteria for an occupied Peterborough General Assembly?
We don't have one.
Yeah.
Toronto has 26.
That's their number? Yeah. Because I think, I don't think, what's this, 8, 7? Yeah, 7, especially all guys.
A little bit of a sausage party.
Yeah,
We can eliminate half the world right now.
yeah. Just
We're all here.
not enough diversity. So how?
Could I recommend that we have a general assembly where no binding decisions are made, but direction is provided?
Oh yeah, I think we can have a good conversation here still. It's
Yeah.
just,
Missed the goddamn film, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. Is, there's a few films at like 3:30. I think the next one starts, The Electric Car.
Yeah.
So let's try and let's try and get you to that if you want to get to that, and be effective.
3:50.
3:15. All right, so let's have an hour meeting because we can talk about things that we want to bring forward. We can talk about scopes. I get my laptop kicked up.
What I find is the things that are coming up today have already been introduced.
Yeah.
It's a matter of extending them. That's what I find.
Yeah. Fair enough. Because we've got communications outreach and this is Fred, by the way.
Fred Irwin. I think we've met, haven't we?
I was at one of your things down the hall a month or so ago with Warren Green.
Transition town.
Yeah. And there may be some Steve. This is Roy Brady.
Oh, hi.
Yes.
I know everybody.
Paul.
I don't think I think we were at a meeting one time. Yeah.
I've been to them all so far.
Yeah, so I was at one other, yeah.
I'm a master's student at
All right, good.
Is that good or bad?
It's facts.
Good.
And Mark, and then Brian. Yeah. So, does anyone have any announcements? Let's go through the non-binding GA format then. Starting off, does anyone have any announcements?
Uh, on Tuesday, January 3rd.
Do you want me to shoot you?
Okay. On Tuesday, January 31st, 2012, from 7 to 8 p.m., please join the Coalition Justice for Levi in the Peterborough Public Library boardroom for the screening of a short film, We Want Justice for Our Communities, Not Police Impunity, followed by remarks by Ruth Schaefer, mother of Levi Schaefer, and Rachelle Sauvé from the Coalition Justice for Levi, and a brief question period. This event is free and open to the public and media.
Well announced.
Thank you.
Well announced. Okay.
I'm not familiar with who Levi is.
Oh yeah.
He was a mentally ill man from this area who was murdered by OPP for acting weird.
It was a case where the police who were reporting on it checked with their lawyers first to have their notes vetted before they finalized them, and then it was a court case. Just recently, it's been appealed. It's been appealed by the police.
Killed them.
Yeah, it's not killed him.
It's been appealed by the police, and they're going to the Supreme Court next.
It's important.
It's a good thorny local issue. And what's the time frame on that? Like, when did it happen?
It's a year and a half ago, or was it longer?
At least a year and a half, maybe 2. Yeah.
It was in the summer, wasn't it?
It was in the summer. Yeah.
All right. Anybody else have any?
Yes, there are some things coming up that probably will take the direct action group's attention, but probably everybody else's, and that is poverty has been discussed by us. The Ontario Social Assistance Review, which started about a year ago, okay, and actually held hearings here, is supposed to be coming out before the end of February. At the same time, as my second announcement, the Drummond Commission, which is the provincial body by Don Drummond, who represents the 1%, is coming up with his ideas on how to balance the budget in 4 years. It's a strictly political responsibility he's been given, and there's been lots of hints as where the cuts are going to be. And at the same time, reform. We have to be ready to counter that. It'll be quite the thing. And third announcement, the provincial budget and the federal budget will be coming in within 2 months. So you put all these things together, it's going to impact a lot of people. Good opportunity for us to
be ready for it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that's perfect.
No,
Just a quickie, if anybody's interested, there's another public meeting about PCBS. This is just sort of a meeting of the tribe. All are welcome. Next Wednesday, 7 p.m. And instead of a church basement, we're using the Montreal House. Bar will be open.
One extreme to the other.
Maybe attract a different crowd. Rebellions start in pubs, don't they?
Is that fun?
That's true. Governor's Tavern.
Oh, very cool. There was an email from Occupy Toronto to Occupy Peterborough from the Occupy Toronto medic team, and they're holding on the third weekend of February. They're doing training for street medics, and they're inviting anybody from Peterborough to come join them. Who want that kind of training? So I'm gonna go. And yeah.
So they'll train you to be a medic?
Well, I'm already a first responder and a nursing grad, so they talk about stuff like how to deal with pepper spray, how to deal with a lot of like fractures and whatnot. So
Cool.
and just kind of like the mentality of it. So sure, we'll go to that. I'm gonna do that, and I'll come back and train people here. I don't think that's ever gonna. It's just something that's like we can have our piece of that, and if something happens, like if there's another big rally in Toronto, we can send some people to actually help out. Okay, and this finally get going.
Well, that's great, because if we ever do get a big enough rally going, it's logical to have a medical response team.
Yep.
Tent or whatever.
Yep. Just for any kind of crisis, somebody has heat exhaustion or gets to yeah.
Very cool.
Very cool. So that's happening in Toronto. Okay, so those are announcements.
I guess I don't understand the procedure.
Oh,
So this is just a
Oh yeah, we do
a little
Yeah, give them an overview.
overview announcements, things that are happening.
announcement, okay. So I'll just say that the Community Green Zine is due out March the 15th with the closing on advertising and content for the end of February. And I'd like to offer a half page to Occupy Peterborough. So you need to think about what that would be. And in fact, I could easily write an article from that if this was firm, just in terms of what your procedure, or we can choose somebody to write.
That'd be awesome for Airreach to work on.
Yeah.
Because
But we
And-
would really have to develop and agree our consensus on the central message in order
Yes.
for it to be
Yes.
gone through.
yeah.
Well,
And this is why, I'm having this argument about priorities here, I'm having silly arguments about this document, silly arguments about nonviolence or peaceful, when we should be developing foundations,
yeah, I
but
think
we can't go anywhere. Sitting having the
create
rephrase,
several
the hell are we
things
looking
through.
at rephrase?
Oh, it's just
Without
It's
literature
advertising.
to promote.
No, that's true. I think you have lots of allies in that argument.
Yeah, we didn't have it.
Yeah.
I think they have to go hand in hand now.
Yeah.
That's the thing we're going to have more powerful presence and message to the community definitely when we can say this is exactly, we're not just a consensus body anymore. We're not just coalition building and bringing people together and finding out what's going on and looking for the linkages, because that's where we're at right now, and that's fine. That's part of the process. But when I think a few more GAs and when people actually figure out what their lenses are, and when we get this Why I Occupy thing off the ground, I think we do need to do both though. And I think Reframe looks good, and there have been some people passing by and signing up and taking buttons.
Yeah, I mean, Reframe's an interesting thing because it does grow the population, which is something that we need to build a central message that's representative. But maybe what we need to do as communication is try and find some tools to allow people to start thinking and voicing their lens on central message, so that when we get to a GA,
Get that conversation.
we've got a lot of stuff already built together and to provide a way to get that rolling, right? Because it's hard to just do in 2 hours
Yes.
in this kind of format, right? So we need some communication in
That's why discussion
advance.
must take place within the individual groups, and only logical presentations that are sound, finished, finalized, be presented to the GA.
So you'd say drive it down to the work groups and then collect it back up and have that instead of just
Can't
doing
get
general.
anything done in a 2-hour group, except for agreeing on what the group's done.
Yeah, that's good.
Before.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the problem is we're barely off the ground.
Yeah.
Like, we just started, like we were talking about, at this point, if we were in a camp, this would be day 3.
Yeah.
We would still be getting the camp together. This particular Occupy is moving extremely slowly. So anything that pushes us ahead, think we should welcome and we should be glad
Yeah.
that we're doing anything at all. It'd be great to have the working groups start building the foundational message, because it's totally essential, like you say. The problem is not all the working groups are at the same level yet.
No.
Some aren't even operating at all. Some are operating are heavily active. The outreach group happens to be heavily active.
DA,
Comparatively.
yeah.
Yeah, direct action is pretty active too. Facilitation is pretty slow. I can tell you that myself. So yeah, at this point, like, this is a rickety like process forward. That's my 2 cents. So we gotta support whatever's happening. I think you're right about the essential message has to be done pretty fast, and you're right, it can't be done in the GA.
Is there a way we can start that conversation?
Well, today's only a good day to, at least we can strategize something.
Yeah. Well, and, you know, taking your points that some of the work groups are not populated at all, really. We can't, you know, so sure, we can ask the working groups to particularly have a little conversation and bring their group lens to the question of central message, but maybe we do have to go back and find a way to engage individuals, because maybe that'll bring brand new people in, right? And maybe it'll, as you said, it's so rickety, we can't rely on structure because it's just not there. We kind of got to go broad, but you're right, it's something that's got to be done with some homework and lead up. And
yeah. Well, in terms of creating a central like position, I don't know what you call it exactly, declaration of intent or something, right? How do you envision that working? Like, each working group decides or kind of comes up with a consensus among themselves what the declaration of intent is, and then we somehow synthesize it to GA. Is that what you're
I like the idea that I think you brought up last year or the one before, is you get a Google thing going where people can sit at home and throw their input in. Someone might be more apt to discuss how they feel through an online thing as opposed to sitting here and telling it. That way we get all these ideas, put them together, bring them to the GA and say, look, this is what people have been putting in. You know, can we come to a consensus on anything here?
Well, the New York Declaration has like a list of kind of grievances that is part of why their occupation started. And I wish I brought it. It's at the table or reframe. But maybe starting just
Is it up online?
a Google Doc. Huh?
Is it online?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's on the website.
Well, there's Wi-Fi.
Yeah. Oh yeah. You can bring it up. But maybe that's something we start doing with like just like a Google Doc and start our
Yeah,
list of.
it's one of those things where as soon as well, we kind of want to be able to let people put in their own new things and then sort of voice on ones that have already been stated,
Yeah.
so that they can build strength and sort of everybody can say, like, you know, half people go, oh yeah, that's one of them for sure, you know, and you don't have to talk. And as soon as you think of something like that kind of problem, it's just a matter of finding the website that's already built to do that.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
So
Okay. Well, why don't we talk about more?
it becomes a research piece and then
I'd also like to suggest that we do half online, especially for people who are too shy to say talk or operate better in a written form.
Mhm.
We also do something where we can have people face to face negotiating the document. Like maybe we could schedule like after a GA. There's like a special meeting after a GA for like working on the document for people who want to do face to face or better verbally, that kind of thing.